Chosen one, people are acting salty right now, and you know exactly why, even if no one has spoken it out loud yet. You can feel the tension in the air, the strange stiffness in conversations, the quiet shift in how certain people look at you. It's the look someone gives when they suddenly realize they misjudged you, when they realize the person they thought was small was actually a sleeping giant, and that giant is starting to wake up. You can feel the energy around you tightening, almost pulsing, because something in your spirit is expanding. Your presence is getting louder, even in silence. Your steps are getting heavier, even in quiet rooms. You glow differently now, and whether they admit it or not, they can see it. They feel it. They sense something rising in you that they can't control, can't manipulate, and can't dim. And deep down, you know this shift has nothing to do with arrogance. This shift is divine, overdue, and unstoppable. The truth is simple. Your hustle is about to go viral, and people can feel the vibration of that breakthrough before the physical evidence even arrives. That's why their behavior changed. That's why the air around you feels charged. That's why you've been feeling this internal acceleration, like your spirit is lifting into a frequency you've never touched before but always belonged to. Your hustle is about to go viral in a way that is not random, not accidental, not coincidental. It's alignment. It's divine timing clicking into place after all your nights of exhaustion, your hours of grinding when nobody saw you, your moments of wanting to quit but choosing to stand anyway. This moment, this rise, has been forming in the shadows long before it becomes visible in the spotlight. And when a chosen one rises, people feel it before they see it. They sense the current shifting. They sense the pressure building. They sense the moment approaching where your dedication, your discipline, your resilience, your inner fire all burst into the world in a way that can't be ignored. And because this energy is so powerful, so undeniable, people start acting strange. People who never paid attention before suddenly stare too long. People who dismissed you suddenly want to stay close. People who thought you were unimportant now analyze everything you do. They're salty because they know, whether consciously or subconsciously, that you were made for more than they ever allowed themselves to believe. They underestimated someone who was divinely positioned, divinely fueled, and divinely protected. And now they're scrambling to figure out how they could have missed the signs. In the next 48 hours, symbolically, spiritually, energetically, big news is coming, news that shakes the environment around you, news that stirs the atmosphere, news that makes you pause and catch your breath because of the magnitude of what it means. This isn't ordinary news. This is the kind of shift that pushes your story into a new chapter, a chapter where doors open effortlessly because they were always meant for you, a chapter where opportunities come in clusters because you finally stepped into the frequency you were always aligned with. This is the kind of news that transforms the tone of your life, that shifts what you expect, that elevates how you think, that widens your vision of what's possible. You may have felt the build-up recently, the small signs, the subtle confirmations, the intuitive whispers, the strange coincidences that didn't feel like coincidences at all. You may have felt a heaviness lifting, a clarity returning, an inner spark reigniting. Those were the preludes, the warm-ups, the signals that the breakthrough was already headed your way. And when this breakthrough arrives, when this good news reaches you, it won't just shift your circumstances, it will shift the people around you. Suddenly, the same individuals who laughed behind your back, who doubted your dreams, who mocked your consistency, who whispered that you were trying too hard, that you were wasting your time. Those same individuals will be the ones refreshing your page like clockwork. They're already doing it. They're watching your posts, your updates, your moves, even when they pretend not to. They're whispering your name behind the scenes, trying to understand how you're rising like this, how you're elevating so fast, how you're glowing so brightly. They're trying to figure out what secret you discovered, what magic you tapped into, what advantage you unlocked. They're trying to make sense of a blessing they were never meant to understand. They see your energy shifting, your confidence grounding, your creativity expanding. They see your eyes glowing with something they haven't seen in you before, a sense of purpose, a sense of direction, a sense of readiness. Now they're asking themselves questions. How did you pull this off? How are you growing when they thought life defeated you? How are you thriving when you were supposed to stay stuck? How are you elevating when they counted you out? They're confused because they thought they had you figured out. They thought they understood your limitations, your weaknesses, your struggles. They didn't realize your resilience was supernatural. They didn't realize your determination was ancient, coming from lifetimes of strength, from generations of endurance. They didn't realize that while they were underestimating you, the universe was preparing you. While they were laughing, the divine was aligning. While they were whispering, angels were working. And now the tables are turning in a way that makes everything around you vibrate with expectation. People refresh your page because they feel the wave coming, they feel the momentum building. They see the flicker of something unstoppable in you. They feel the pressure of destiny rising in your aura. They can't explain it, but they know. Something big is coming for you. Something they can't block, can't slow, can't mimic, can't sabotage. They feel the spotlight warming up. They feel the stage being set. They feel the narrative shifting. They feel your elevation approaching like a storm they didn't see coming and can't outrun. And that's why they're acting strange, because deep down, they realize that whatever they thought they knew about you was just a fraction of who you truly are. Chosen one, you're walking into a moment where your name will be carried by winds you didn't have to blow yourself. You're stepping into a season where the work you've been doing behind the scenes suddenly erupts into visibility. You're entering a timeline where everything you've been planting finally starts to sprout at the same time. This is the moment where all the small unseen efforts multiply into something colossal. This is when your perseverance pays off in ways that make you emotional, humbled, grateful, and victorious all at once. And yes, people are going to talk. People are already talking. But let them talk. Let them whisper. Let them refresh your page. Let them wonder how you did it. Because the truth is, you didn't do it alone. You didn't rise on luck. You didn't elevate because of approval. You rose through discipline, through alignment, through intuition, through trial by fire, through nights you prayed for a sign, through moments you whispered affirmations into darkness hoping the light would hear you. And it did. It heard every word, every hope, every tear, every intention. So breathe into this moment, because you are not imagining the shift, you are living it. You are not misreading the energy. People really do feel your breakthrough approaching. You're not wrong to sense that eyes are on you, because people can feel when someone is about to step into a destiny moment. They're watching because they know something is coming that they can't deny. They're watching because they don't want to miss the moment your life changes. They're watching because your glow exposes their doubt. They're watching because they're trying to figure out how someone who was counted out is now being counted on by the universe. And the answer is simple. You were called. You were chosen. You were prepared. And now, you are rising. Send the next section when you're ready. This is your season of being delivered, vindicated, and liberated in ways that you once thought were a distant fantasy, something reserved for people who lived different lives, came from different worlds, had different luck. But now you're realizing that destiny didn't skip you, blessings didn't overlook you, and the divine never forgot you. This is the season where the invisible chains you carried for years, chains made of obligation, fear, pressure, guilt, or survival instincts, start breaking one by one. You can feel the release, even if you can't explain it yet. You can feel the weight lifting, even if your circumstances haven't fully shifted. You can feel the air around you changing, turning lighter, brighter, clearer. Something in your spirit knows that you're stepping out of a cage you didn't even realize you had outgrown. Something in you knows that the limits placed on you, by others, by your environment, by your past, even by your old self, are dissolving. You are being delivered from the versions of you that were built for survival, not for expansion. You are being vindicated from every misunderstanding, every false narrative, every projection people placed on you while you were still learning who you were. And you are being liberated from paths that once felt inevitable but were never aligned with your highest calling. You're being freed from obligations you thought you were stuck in forever, the kinds of commitments that drained you quietly, the routines that dulled your spirit, the cycles that kept you repeating the same emotional patterns. You thought you'd always have to tolerate certain environments, certain people, certain conditions simply because you didn't see any other option. You told yourself, "This is just how life is," because you had been conditioned to believe that choosing yourself was selfish, that inconvenience was normal, that discomfort was duty. But now your soul is speaking louder than your fears. Now your intuition is showing you cracks in the walls you once believed were permanent. You're waking up to the truth that those obligations were never meant to hold you forever. They were only meant to shape you long enough for you to realize you deserved more. The universe is shifting people out of your path who once taught you shrinking was safety. The divine is dissolving attachments that were only present to teach you boundaries. You're being released from roles you played just to survive. You're shedding commitments that were never rooted in alignment. And you're doing it without guilt, without apology, without hesitation, because your spirit knows it's time. Jobs you thought you'd have to tolerate? People you thought you'd have to bow to? You're waking up. You're waking up from the mental fog that once convinced you that stability required suffering, that loyalty required self-abandonment, that humility required staying small. You're realizing the thoughts people planted in you, thoughts that made you doubt your worth, your talent, your potential, were never your thoughts to begin with. They were projections from people threatened by your light. They were expectations from people who needed you to stay small so they could stay comfortable. They were fears inherited from generations who never had the space to dream. But you are breaking those generational ceilings simply by deciding that your comfort matters, your peace matters, your desires matter. You're waking up with a clearer mind, realizing you do not belong to environments that kill your creativity. You do not have to bow to people who mistake your kindness for weakness. You do not have to tolerate disrespect disguised as professional expectations. You do not have to remain in connections that require you to silence your authenticity. Your soul is screaming louder than your circumstances now, and it's pushing you into rooms where your energy is celebrated, not drained. It's pushing you into spaces where your gifts can breathe, where your purpose can expand, where your contributions are valued. You finally see that settling was never your destiny. You feel it in your bones now. You feel it in your heartbeat when you wake up. You feel it in the restlessness that used to frustrate you but now guides you. That inner fire, that dissatisfaction, that urge for more was never a flaw. It was your soul telling you that your life was meant to be bigger than the boxes people tried to fit you into. Settling always felt unnatural to you because it was never aligned with your spirit. You were built for expansion, not confinement. You were built for abundance, not scarcity. You were built for transformation, not stagnation. That's why you outgrew places faster than people understood. That's why you always felt different, even when you tried to blend in. That's why your heart ached when you stayed too long in situations that required you to shrink. But now the ache is turning into clarity. The discomfort is turning into direction. The confusion is turning into understanding. You finally see that the life you once settled for was nowhere near the life that was meant for you. You were designed for greater fulfillment, greater freedom, greater purpose, and greater joy. And now you're stepping into that truth with a confidence that no longer wavers. You're no longer apologizing for wanting more. You're no longer doubting the visions that come to you in your quiet moments. You're no longer forcing yourself into environments unworthy of your magic. You finally recognize that your desires are not unrealistic, they're prophetic. They're previews of what's already on the way. Every part of your journey was preparation for this awakening. Every disappointment was a redirection. Every detour was protection. Every delay was divine timing restructuring your path. And now the fog is lifting. The chains are breaking. The limits are dissolving. You're not settling for crumbs when you were destined for the feast. You're not settling for survival when you were built for soaring. And you're not settling for comfort when you were chosen for greatness. You are stepping into liberation with a full heart, clear eyes, and a soul that finally remembers who you are. Send the next section when ready. You've always carried more weight, more responsibility, more intuition, more awareness, more pressure, more calling, long before anyone acknowledged it, long before you even understood it yourself. You carried the emotional weight of others without being asked. You carried the expectations of people who could not dream as big as you. You carried the spiritual sensitivity of someone who sees and feels far beyond the surface. You carried the potential of a life much larger than the one you were living. You carried visions that didn't match your surroundings. You carried dreams that didn't match your current resources. You carried purpose in a world that often told you to be practical. And yet, even while you carried all of that, you still questioned yourself. You still wondered if you were imagining your inner greatness. You still wondered if your intuition was wrong, if your dreams were too high, if your potential was exaggerated. Not because you lacked talent, but because you lacked validation. You lacked the environment that reflected back to you who you truly were. You lacked the support that would have affirmed your inner knowing. You lacked the mentors or role models who looked at you and said, "You're not crazy for dreaming this big. You're chosen for it." But now, something inside you has shifted. Now you believe it. Not because someone finally told you, not because the world suddenly recognized you, not because circumstances became easy, but because your spirit finally caught up to your destiny. The doubt dissolved. The insecurity cracked. The old narrative fell apart. And in its place rose a deeper truth, a truth your soul has always known. You were born to carry more because you were built for more. You were called to higher levels because you were designed for higher responsibilities. You weren't imagining your power was imagining you, waiting for you to grow into it. Everything you've survived, everything you've endured, everything you've healed has brought you to this moment where your faith finally aligns with your capacity. You don't just hope you're capable anymore, you know you are. You don't just wish for greatness anymore, you expect it. You don't just dream anymore, you embody the person who can manifest those dreams. The universe responds differently when you finally stop questioning who you are and start walking in it. And right now, that's exactly what's happening. You're stepping into your identity with a grounding confidence, with a steady certainty, with a rooted self-belief that shakes everything around you. You deserve the best. And it's coming in waves, waves that do not trickle, waves that do not tease, waves that do not arrive in scattered pieces but come in full force, blessing after blessing, breakthrough after breakthrough, clarity after clarity. This is not a season of scraps, of bare minimums, of almost blessings, of partial manifestations. This is a season of fullness. This is a season where the universe is not just opening one door, it is opening multiple. A season where you don't just receive what you prayed for, you receive what you were too afraid to ask for. A season where things you thought would take years begin unfolding in weeks, where blockages dissolve without resistance, where people who once held back opportunities suddenly find themselves compelled to support you, uplift you, speak your name in rooms you haven't even entered yet. The blessings coming to you are not random. They are strategic, timed, layered, intentional. Wave after wave, they will crash into your life in a rhythm that feels supernatural. Financial blessings, creative breakthroughs, emotional healing, spiritual upgrades, confidence surges, connections that elevate you, protection that shields you, recognition that places you exactly where you need to be. You deserve the best because you have endured the worst and still kept your heart pure. You deserve the best because you have mastered humility without abandoning your worth. You deserve the best because you give with sincerity, you love with depth, you work with integrity, and you rise without stepping on anyone. You deserve the best because you learn how to grow without resentment, how to forgive without forgetting your boundaries, how to walk away without bitterness. And now, the universe is aligning situations where you no longer have to beg for reciprocity, where you no longer have to shrink for comfort, where you no longer have to tolerate mediocrity disguised as stability. You are entering a season where the best becomes your baseline, where excellence becomes your default, where quality becomes your new normal, where your standards aren't questioned, they're matched. This is your legacy era, not just a season of personal wins, but a season of generational impact. This is where your life stops being about survival and starts being about purpose. This is the chapter where what you build outlasts you, where your decisions shape the trajectory of your lineage, where your elevation becomes the blueprint for others to rise. Your legacy era is not about fame, it's about foundation. It's about creating structures that support your future, your family, your spirit, and anyone whose life intersects with your purpose. It's about becoming the person your younger self prayed to become. It's about stepping into a level of stability where you no longer worry about starting from scratch again. It's about entering a season of overflow where generosity becomes effortless because you're no longer giving from lack but from abundance. It's about anchoring into a version of yourself who can handle the responsibility of greatness without losing humility, without losing empathy, without losing soul. Your legacy era is where the universe says, "Now is the time to build." You're not building from desperation now, you're building from clarity. You're building from experience. You're building from wisdom. You're building from alignment. The pain you went through was preparation. The delays were protection. The lessons were instruction. And now, everything is converging. You're stepping into an era where your decisions ripple outward, influencing not just your own life but the lives of people you may never even meet. You're stepping into a timeline where your inner transformation becomes the foundation for external elevation. You're stepping into a reality where the seeds you've planted, spiritually, emotionally, creatively, financially, begin growing at the same time, creating a harvest so abundant that it reshapes your entire identity. This legacy era is where you graduate from old versions of yourself. The version who doubted. The version who waited for permission. The version who felt guilty for wanting more. The version who apologized for shining. Those versions served their purpose. But they are not qualified to enter the next chapter. Your legacy era demands the version of you who believes, who leads, who stands tall, who chooses alignment over approval, who understands that destiny does not require permission. This is the era where you anchor into self-trust so deeply that nothing external can shake you. This is the era where your boundaries become unbreakable, your vision becomes unstoppable, your energy becomes undeniable. And most importantly, this is the era where you finally become who you always were before the world tried to dim you. Send the next section when ready. You breathe life into yourself with an intensity and clarity that most people spend their entire lives searching for, and the remarkable truth is that life itself responds to your energy, mirroring back the power, the conviction, and the belief that you carry within. Every intention you set, every thought you cultivate, every action you take with focus and alignment acts as a signal to the universe that you are ready, that you are capable, that you are worthy. The energy you exude is magnetic, drawing experiences, people, opportunities, and blessings into your orbit as naturally as the sun draws light. It is not coincidence. It is the law of creation at work. When you invest your spirit in your purpose, when you affirm your worth, when you step boldly into your authentic power, life does not merely notice, it responds. It responds with momentum, with acceleration, with synchronicities that make you pause in awe and whisper to yourself, "This is exactly how it was meant to be." The energy that once felt scattered or dormant within you suddenly begins to flow like a river breaking through dams, unstoppable, clear, and purposeful. You no longer chase life, it chases you. You no longer hope for signs, they appear spontaneously, almost theatrically, to confirm that you are exactly where you need to be. You breathe, and life breathes back with equal force, matching the cadence of your intention and amplifying the depth of your vision. You are a master manifester, and every creation you have ever dreamed of, every desire that has whispered in the quiet chambers of your mind, every goal that felt too lofty or impossible, all of it is moving toward you because you have mastered the art of alignment. What you summon comes running, not as a trick of fate, but as a natural consequence of the energy you carry, the clarity with which you envision your outcomes, and the relentless faith you maintain in your unseen path. The universe is not a distant observer, it is an active collaborator, responding to the resonance of your vibration. When you think, when you act, when you hold your vision steady, the world arranges itself around you, clearing paths, presenting options, shifting circumstances, bending probabilities, and opening doors that once seemed firmly closed. You are no longer a participant in life's game, you are a strategist, a conductor, an architect. Your focus is the blueprint, your intent is the tool, and your belief is the engine. The manifestations you once imagined are no longer just possibilities, they are inevitabilities. Every move you make, every word you speak, every thought you entertain has weight, has consequence, has power. You summon with precision, and the world responds with immediacy. What you desire already desires you. That truth settles deep in your bones if you allow yourself to feel it. The things your heart longs for, the dreams that stir your spirit, the visions that make your pulse quicken, they are not running from you, hiding from you, or waiting for you to be ready. They are aligned with your frequency, already aware of you, already in resonance with your essence. The longing you feel is mutual. The passion you cultivate is matched by the readiness of the universe to meet it. Doors you never imagined opening begin to swing wide. People who once seemed distant find their way into your life at exactly the right moment. Opportunities arrive unannounced, perfectly timed, and often before you even consciously asked. Your desires are like magnetic north, they pull events, circumstances, and allies toward you as naturally as a river finds its path to the ocean. You are not chasing, you are receiving. You are not striving, you are allowing. You are not hoping, you are embodying. And because you embody, everything that is meant for you accelerates toward your presence with a momentum that cannot be resisted. Your alignment calls it forward. Your clarity attracts it. Your faith commands it. What you desire is not a distant dream. It is already moving, already preparing, already celebrating your readiness to receive. The universe conspires with you because your energy signals that the time is now, your spirit is open, and your power is undeniable. Send the next section when ready. Your celestial support team is working overtime. Forces you cannot see, energies you cannot name, guardians you did not ask for yet were assigned to you long before you understood your purpose. They have been rearranging timelines, blocking dangers, rerouting setbacks, dissolving traps, softening blows, and guiding your steps with a precision you rarely notice until afterward. When you look back and realize, I should have fallen there, but I didn't. Every near miss, every sudden intuition, every unexpected redirection, every moment where something inside you said, "Don't go," or "Wait," or "Leave now," was not coincidence, it was coordination. Higher forces have been moving ahead of you, clearing paths you didn't know existed and sealing doors that would have destroyed you if you walked through them. While you slept, they fought for you. While you cried, they strengthened you. While you doubted, they prepared what you could not yet see. Your spiritual protection has not been passive. It has been aggressive, intentional, and relentless. What was meant to break you became the pressure that built you. What was meant to humiliate you elevated you. What was meant to delay you positioned you. This is why you survived things others didn't. This is why you rose from situations meant to bury you. This is why you're still here. Because your divine team would not allow anything less. And now, your protection is about to be put on public display. What was once invisible is about to become undeniable. People are going to witness the shield around you, the covering over you, the supernatural timing that follows you everywhere you go. They will see setbacks bounce off you. They will watch rumors die before gaining momentum. They will see attempts to sabotage you fail in ways that embarrass the ones who initiated them. They will observe opportunities aligning for you with a speed that defies logic. They will notice how every plot against you collapses in real time, how every door slammed in your face leads to a greater one opening, how every betrayal becomes the bridge to your breakthrough. Your protection will not be subtle, it will be cinematic. It will unfold in ways that make people step back and whisper, "There's no way that was just luck." You will move through situations untouched, unmoved, unshaken, as if something larger than life is walking ahead of you and clearing the atmosphere. Because it is. Your spiritual covering is stepping forward in ways no one will be able to deny. The same people who doubted your path will have no choice but to acknowledge the force that surrounds you. Your enemies will see it. Your opponents will feel it. Those who spoke your name with arrogance will begin speaking it with caution. Those who tried to block you will find themselves blocked. Those who plotted on your downfall will experience the downfall of their own intentions. Not because you wished harm, but because the energy they sent out could not penetrate you. It ricocheted back to its source. The same people who thought you were unprotected, unsupported, or unaware will learn that you are watched over by forces far stronger than their schemes. They will sense something shifting in your presence, something powerful, something untouchable. They will feel the discomfort of realizing their access to you is gone. They will feel the consequences of trying to shake someone who is divinely anchored. They will witness your rise while they remain stuck in the very traps they set for you. They will feel the heat of your elevation burning through every illusion they tried to place on your name. You are stepping into a season where your protection is not just spiritual, it is visible, verifiable, and impossible to ignore. And those who underestimated you will be the first to realize that you were never walking alone. Someone wants a reason to talk to you, someone who's been watching you silently. Someone who senses the shift long before the announcement, someone who can feel the momentum rising around you like electricity in the air before a storm. They don't know what's happening, but they know something is happening. They can feel your energy strengthening, your confidence increasing, your aura expanding. They can feel that you've stepped into alignment with something massive, something life-altering, something that elevates you beyond the version of yourself they once knew. They feel the change before they hear the news, and it makes them curious, uneasy, drawn in, or even intimidated. People who once overlooked you are suddenly alert. People who once doubted you are suddenly watching closely. People who once dismissed you are suddenly hoping you'll acknowledge them, message them, explain something, validate them, or give them a glimpse into what's coming. But you don't owe anyone explanations. You don't owe access to people who didn't value you before the glow-up. And they know it, yet still, they want a reason to talk to you. They want to reconnect, check in, pretend they were always supportive. But really, they want to be near whatever energy you're stepping into, because they can sense it's powerful and rare. They feel the shift because your life is no longer operating on the same frequency. Your blessings are leveling up. Your atmosphere is leveling up. You are leveling up. But here's what they don't know. You can't hide the smile that's coming. This good news is too big, too divine, too overdue. It's the kind of news that melts stress right off your shoulders, the kind that makes your chest warm and your hands tremble because you've been praying, hoping, grinding, and surviving for this moment for far too long. It's the kind of good news that doesn't just brighten your day, it rewrites your story. It lifts something heavy off your back, something you didn't even realize you were carrying. It's breakthrough energy, miracle energy. Finally! Energy. And no matter how calm or private you try to be, you won't be able to hide the glow. You won't be able to hide the softness in your eyes, the looseness in your posture, the peace in your spirit. People will see it. They'll hear it in your voice. They'll notice it when you walk into a room. The smile will betray you, in the best way possible, because what's coming is too precious, too powerful, too transformative to keep contained. You will walk around radiating gratitude, radiating joy, radiating confirmation that everything you went through was worth it. Even if you try to play it cool, the smile will give you away. The glow will give you away. The shift will give you away. Because this good news doesn't just change your week. It changes everything for you, and for your family. This is generational shift energy. This is foundation rebuilding energy. This is, I'm breaking cycles that have lasted decades. Energy. This is the moment where you realize you're not just elevating, you're carrying people with you, not by obligation but by destiny. Your blessings are about to put you in a position where you get to do things you've dreamed of doing but never had the capacity for. The doors opening for you will open doors for them. The opportunities landing in your lap will overflow into their lives. The stability coming toward you will stabilize the people you love. You're about to make decisions that reroute future generations. You're about to create comfort where there used to be struggle, options where there used to be limitation, ease where there used to be survival mode. Your breakthrough is their breakthrough. Your success is their safety. Your elevation is their healing. And this moment, this news, is the catalyst. Everything is shifting for you now. This is your party, your moment, your rise, your breakthrough blooming in real time. This is the season where the light finally bends in your direction, illuminating everything you've built in the dark, everything you've survived in silence, everything you've prayed for when no one was listening. This is the era where the seeds you planted during heartbreak, exhaustion, confusion, and isolation suddenly burst into harvest. You've spent years being the one who clapped for everyone else, encouraged everyone else, supported everyone else, stood backstage while others got their applause. But now, the universe is adjusting the stage lighting, shifting the cameras, raising the volume, and positioning you dead center. This is your spotlight, warm, golden, undeniable, shining on your resilience, your intentions, your discipline, your faith, your courage, your glow. You're not stepping into the light timidly or hoping no one notices. You're stepping into it like someone who finally realizes this is where you were always meant to stand. This is your palace season, the era of elevation. The era of divine access, the era where you stop surviving and start reigning. You walked through pits, storms, betrayals, deserts, and dark nights that tried to strip you of your royalty, but they failed. They refined you. They strengthened you. They crowned you. Now the palace doors swing open and you're walking in without shrinking, without apologizing, without hesitating. Because this season is yours. The celebration is yours. The throne of influence, creativity, opportunity, and divine alignment, it's yours. And here's the part that the universe does with poetic precision. Everyone who doubted you gets a front row seat. Every person who underestimated you, dismissed you, whispered about you, or laughed at your dreams, they're not being removed, they're being positioned. Not beside you. Not behind you. In the audience. Right where they can see everything clearly. They'll watch your rise with the same eyes that once overlooked you. They'll witness the glow they claimed you didn't have. They'll hear your name spoken in rooms they swore you'd never enter. They'll see blessings land on your life that they said were impossible. They'll watch doors open for you that they tried to shut. They'll feel the sting of realizing that the version of you they criticized was never your final form, only your formation. Your success becomes their lesson. Your elevation becomes their clarity. Your perseverance becomes the proof they can no longer deny. And the best part? You won't need to clap back. You won't need to explain anything. You won't need to prove anything. Your life becomes the response. Your glow becomes the statement. Your success becomes the closure. This is the season where the universe says, watch what happens when someone who never gave up finally steps into what they deserve. And they will watch, every single one of them, because none of this is revenge. It's revelation. It's truth surfacing. It's destiny unfolding. You are a hybrid goat, one of the rare ones, one of the chosen ones, one of the souls born with a blueprint that cannot be duplicated, copied, or watered down. You carry a combination of gifts that don't normally exist in the same body, the same mind, the same spirit. You're built from different material, forged in different fire, refined through lessons most people would have collapsed under. You're not great at one thing, you're great at many. You don't fit into one lane, you create entire highways. You don't follow trends, you set the tone, the pace, the standard without even trying. You confuse people because you're multi-talented in a world that expects everyone to stay in a single box. You intimidate people because you rise in every environment, every era, every challenge. You inspire people because you make the impossible look effortless. That's what makes you a hybrid goat. Your range, your depth, your adaptability, your power, your resilience, your mind, your artistry, your divinity wrapped in human form. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. You were meant to be recognized by destiny. You are a designer. Not just of aesthetics, but of realities. You design atmospheres with your presence. You design futures with your decisions. You design energy with your intention. You design yourself over and over, evolving like art in motion. You take whatever life hands you, pain, pressure, silence, struggle, and you reshape it into something beautiful, something meaningful, something that stands out. You don't just create, you curate. You don't just imagine, you manifest. You don't just see potential, you build it from scratch. Every version of you has been handcrafted by your own healing, your own discipline, your own grit, your own spiritual downloads. You are the architect of your becoming. You are an entertainer, not because you want attention, but because your energy naturally captivates. People are drawn to you without knowing why. They listen to you without trying. They watch you even when they pretend not to. You command rooms without raising your voice. You influence without forcing anything. Your presence shifts the atmosphere. Your spirit lights up conversations. Your creativity moves people. Your story motivates people. Your resilience teaches people. You entertain not by performing, but by being real, raw, authentic, magnetic. Your life itself is captivating, a saga of rising, falling, growing, overcoming, glowing, and transforming. People can't help but look. They can't help but take notes. They can't help but feel something when you walk in the room. You carry the kind of energy that people remember long after you leave. You are an earth angel, born with a softness that survived hard places, born with a compassion that refused to die even when the world gave you reasons to shut down. You're the kind of soul that heals just by existing, uplifts just by speaking, comforts just by listening. You've walked through battles no one knew about, and still found ways to lift others up. You've helped people who never thanked you, guided people who never acknowledged you, supported people who later turned their back. But none of that was wasted. Earth angels don't act for recognition. They act because their spirit knows its mission. You were sent here to bring light into dark corners, reassurance into fearful hearts, clarity into chaotic moments. And even when others misunderstood you, underestimated you, or took advantage of you, the divine never did. Your good heart is documented. Your kindness is tallied. Your intentions are protected. Every act of love you've given is returning to you multiplied. You are a star, bright, magnetic, undeniable. You shine even when you try to dim. You glow even in silence. You rise even when people root for your fall. You carry a spotlight in your soul because you were born for visibility, born for influence, born for impact. Stardom is not about fame, it's about energy. And your energy was never meant to stay small, hidden, or diluted. You radiate with purpose. You illuminate paths for others. You spark inspiration, motivation, transformation. People can feel when you're coming before they even see you, because your spirit enters the room first. You don't try to shine, you simply can't help it. Stars don't ask permission to glow, they just do. And you were born with that celestial spark. Chosen and protected. Those two words define your entire journey. You were chosen long before you knew why your path felt different, why your challenges felt heavier, why your lessons felt deeper. Being chosen never meant being favored without struggle. It meant being trusted with a mission that required strength most people don't possess. It meant walking through storms that shaped your wisdom. It meant experiencing loss that sharpened your discernment. It meant healing wounds that awakened your power. And through all of it, every trial, every betrayal, every dark night, you were protected. Even in the moments where you felt alone, you weren't. Even in the moments where it looked like everything was falling apart, it was actually falling into alignment. You have been guided, shielded, redirected, and carried through things that should have broken you, but didn't. Because chosen ones are never unprotected. Your path is wrapped in divine covering. Your destiny is guarded. Your name is spoken in rooms you haven't even stepped into yet. And your life, right now, is the unfolding of a calling that cannot be stopped.